A specially shaped piece of wood used for hitting a baseball. A nocturnal mouse like animal that flies with a pair of membranous wings. These are two totally different definitions for the same word, bat. VAT. You are listening to episode 15 of the Upper Elementary Simplified podcast, and today we are talking about the importance of teaching vocabulary in context. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Upper Elementary Simplified, the podcast where busy and overwhelmed teachers find thoughtful ideas to get students engaged in meaningful learning experiences. Hi, I'm Danna Rodebush, former fifth grade classroom teacher and founder of Teacher Tech Studio. I'm here to share practical tips and strategies that will help you grow as an educator. If you are a tired upper elementary teacher searching for ways to cut down your planning time while boosting student engagement, you are in the right spot. Are you ready? Let's simplify. When students memorize a definition for a vocabulary test and never use, read, or hear the word in context, does the word really have any meaning to them? Students with a good memory will do great on a vocabulary test if it is full of matching words to definitions, but those same students will struggle to comprehend a text when these higher level vocabulary words are being used and they are not familiar with seeing them within a real situation, also known as context. The example I gave in the introduction of this episode was the word bat, B-A-T, which is a very simple word. But consider other higher level words that our upper elementary students are being introduced to, such as perplexed, thrive, or flimsy. Is it more likely to retain the meaning of perplexed by memorizing the definition to be completely baffled, very puzzled? Or would students retain the meaning better if they were able to relate to the meaning of the word? What if they were shown a short video clip of someone who was really confused about a situation? Or what if they read a story and the main character showed up to school one day and the doors were locked, and the only way to get in was to solve a series of clues that were really difficult to understand? This character is perplexed. How about the word thrive? Should students memorize the definition to grow vigorously, flourish? Or should they be shown a picture of two plants, one that is not thriving and one that is thriving? Or the word flimsy. Should we teach students to memorize the definition light and insubstantial, easily damaged, or lacking in physical strength? Or should we demonstrate to them trying to cut into something with a plastic knife and fork? You get the idea. Students don't need to be memorizing definitions. Instead, they need to be hearing, reading, and using these words in real context. They need to be reading texts that allow them to quote unquote see the word in action. This episode is sponsored by Vocabulary Simplified, a resource that simplifies vocabulary instruction so teachers can focus on building word knowledge that has meaning for their students. Each week, your students will be introduced to 10 new vocabulary words for which they will focus on meanings and spellings. In addition to the regular vocabulary lists, a root study list is also included because there is a heavy focus on root word study in the upper elementary grades. Want to try out a sample with your students and see it for yourself? Find the sample at teachertechstudio.com/vocab sample. That link will be in the show notes. When I taught fifth grade in the classroom, I was constantly aware of the need for building vocabulary for my students. Anytime I would be reading something aloud to them, or if they were watching a video and we came across a word that I knew was probably out of their vocabulary knowledge, I would make it a point to stop and discuss the meaning of that word. Part of the reason that I feel this way is because I was the kid who memorized definitions for the test and then forgot all about that word. And then when I was in college, I felt like I needed to study a dictionary so I would sound smart. True story. So, how do you normally structure your vocabulary instruction? Do your students memorize definitions for a test and then forget about them? I want to encourage you to put a stronger focus on teaching vocabulary in context for the upcoming school year. I'm going to be doing a future episode on how to teach vocabulary in context, so stay tuned for that. Well, I think I did a pretty good job keeping this episode pretty short and sweet. Be sure to grab the sample of my vocabulary resources in the show notes or at teachertechstudio.com/vocab sample. And I will see you back here next Tuesday for another part of our math workshop series. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Upper Elementary Simplified. I hope you are able to take away something useful that will help you grow as a teacher. I do have a quick favor to ask before you go. If you are enjoying the podcast, please let me know by leaving me a review. It really does make a difference because reviews impact search results, which helps me to expand my reach to other educators. Plus, I love to read my listeners' comments. Until next time, keep life simple.